Hi guys, it's Nurse Nzi and welcome to Nursing Different with Nurse Nzi. So today I've got the part 2 of my nursing experience from a general practice perspective.
This is what a day in the life of a general practice nurse looks like.
I'm just going to talk about what I do as a general practice nurse. So yeah, my scope in terms of patients is quite broad. And so is the experience of immunizations. I'm responsible for giving childhood immunizations as well as adult immunizations. So that can be receiving a pneumonia vaccination or possibly a travel type of vaccination. However, I wasn't personally trained to do travel vaccines, so I didn't do them. But as a general practice nurse, that's something that you can do. The advice I was given was travel vaccinations are a lot more difficult in terms of regulations and knowing exactly what to give and how to give it. So I didn't start off with travel vaccinations, and I'd probably say take your time with travel. Take your time. Don't rush into it. But yeah, so I want to focus a little bit more about the childhood immunizations. I did have a video that I did which showed me kind of trying to act out a scene of what my day would look like, but that didn't really go well. So I normally print out a schedule, as you can see here, to just help me along in terms of knowing the exact types of vaccinations that I need to give, and it gives me a rough guide in terms of what to give. So when you're checking for schedules for childhood vaccinations, make sure you've got the right schedule for the right year. So this one came out in autumn of 2019. However, in the beginning of 2020, the schedule changed. You want to make sure you're giving the immunizations according to the right schedule. The other things to look out for with childhood immunizations is children that have come from different countries. So their schedule may be slightly different to ours. So one of the things that I do is make sure I talk to my clinical manager or another nurse that's available and just ask them for a bit of support. And also you can check online for the different schedules. So for example, if you've got a child that's come from France, you can check online what the French schedules are and ask the parents to bring in any copies of any vaccinations that the child has received. If the parents don't have any copy of vaccinations, then you have to give it according to the late schedule. That will depend on how old the child is. So other things that I do as a general practice nurse is testing urine samples, so doing a urinalysis for the doctors, diabetic checks, so annual diabetic reviews. But in terms of the actual diabetic review, it has to be done by someone with experience in that field. So there is a training that you have to undergo in order to do the review on patients. Introduced. There's a new thing that was introduced. It's more a group type of review. So patients now get to have their annual reviews as a group rather than individually. And obviously this is prior to COVID, so I'm not really sure how this is going to go ahead with everything that's going on right now. But what was happening before is that they got maybe 2 or 3 patients in the room together and they were giving them their results face to face. Now I'm not sure whether all practices are doing that or whether it's just my practice that started doing that, but it was a great way for them to kind of see what everyone else is getting and to sort of feel motivated by people that were doing really well in managing to lower their glucose levels. But actually it could have been an eye-opener for those who were not doing so well to say, you know what, actually let me step a bit up. Diabetic checks, we would do asthma reviews, and again, you need to be trained in order to do asthma reviews. If you're someone with vast experience of working with people with asthma, then you probably don't really need the course. But if you're someone that you don't have experience of working with people with asthma, then there is a course that you can get onto, or it's just about getting that training from your nursing team. So yeah, and again, it's annual reviews that I would do. So some of my tasks were to phone up patients and just to see how they were doing, to see how their asthma was faring up, and this is during the COVID period as well.
I was also responsible for giving depots to older adults. So just a quick guide in terms of breaking the ampoules. So my mentor always said, watch out for the little dot on top of the ampoule and position your thumb on top of the dot, and with your index finger just push backwards. So push in a backwards motion, pushing your thumb towards that index finger, and when you hear the pop, that's it, you let go of it and put it in the sharp spin. But obviously everyone's got their different way of doing it, so it's just a matter of finding what way works best for you. So in this video, I show you how I prepare for my childhood immunizations. I believe this is for a 8-week vaccination, so their first vaccine. So the first thing that I showed was the Rotarix, which is to protect the baby against the rotavirus. And what I'm holding in my hand is called Infanrix Hexa, and it's basically of the 6-in-1 vaccination, so it covers quite a fair bit. And then the injection on the grey, this is the routine schedule, the immunization schedule, the most up-to-date one, so the one for January 2020. And like I said in the beginning, I always print out the schedule and have it next to me, and that's the late schedule, so the incomplete immunization schedule. So you want to make sure that you have that next to you in case you want to go over and be sure that you're given the right medication. Make sure you've got your gloves and you put your gloves on before you start to administer any injections. And actually the injection that's on the grey platter is the Bexero injection, which is against meningitis B. One of the reasons why I love the routine immunization schedule is because it's very clear and it's quite easy to read, and it sets everything out. So it lets you know what to give at what age, but it also gives both names. So it gives you the pharmaceutical name and the brand name for the vaccinations. But the best thing is that it tells you where it goes. So for example, meningitis B only goes in the left thigh, and I think that's so valuable because where sometimes things can get very busy, it's good to have something there to remind you of what to look out for and what to prepare yourself with. So just make sure that you double check the schedule before you give any immunization. And lastly, be sure to read and sign the PGDs, which is the patient group directives, which allows you to give these immunizations. So have a read through them and sign them with your mentors or your clinical leads. That's it from me. I hope this video was informative.
Thank you for watching my video. Please remember to like, subscribe and share for more videos.